Statistics, where does it fit into research projects? Research projects, a scientific venture to answer a research question that was posed about a research topic. So if you have a research project, once you mention a research project, you're supposed to begin with a research topic. A research topic is a subject or issue that a researcher is interested in when conducting research. A well-defined research topic is the starting point of every successful research project. In other words, a subject or concern that interests a researcher. That's the research topic. An example of a research topic is the learning of mathematics. Subject of interest, the learning of mathematics. So we now have the research topic. Here comes the research or statistical questions. They are fundamental initiators of research. It is one that can be answered by collecting data and where there will be variability in that data. Therefore, that's where the variables are first mentioned. This is different from a question that anticipates a deterministic answer. So for example, what is the height of this table? You take a measuring device and you determine the height of the table by simply measuring. So this is a deterministic answer from a simple question. But a research question requires that you collect data in order for you to answer that question. Now, as we mentioned, the variable are first mentioned in the research question. Now we need to talk about a variable. A variable is a characteristic of the study object. Examples of variables are color, texture, number of edges, number of chairs, price, height, weight, temperature. Now the data now is a specific value of a particular variable. The variable is the characteristic. Example, the variable color, data green. The variable texture, data smooth. Number of edges, 6 edges. Number of chairs, 50 chairs. Price, $35. Height, 150 centimeters. Weight, 2.89 kilograms. Temperature, 24.5 degrees Celsius. So the data is a specific value, whereas the variable is the characteristic. Now there are 3 types: qualitative, quantitative discrete, and quantitative continuous. For qualitative, you must use words to write down the data. Examples of qualitative variables are color, because you have to write down the word green. Texture, you have to write down the word smooth. So qualitative, words. Quantitative discrete, now you must count to obtain the data. Also, the data must assume countable values. Most times these are integer values, whole numbers. Examples of quantitative discrete variables: number of edges, 6 edges. You have to count. Number of chairs, 50 chairs. You have to count. Price, $35. You have to count. So that's quantitative discrete. Now you have quantitative continuous. You must use a measuring instrument to obtain the data. Also, the data can assume infinite possible values because you're going to have decimals. Examples of quantitative continuous variables are height, 150 centimeters, 150.5. Weight, you have to use a scale, 2.89 kilograms. Temperature, you have to use a thermometer, 24.5 degrees Celsius. So qualitative, you have to use words. Quantitative discrete, you have to count. Quantitative continuous, you have to measure. Variable is the characteristic and data is the specific value. So 3 examples of research questions are, remember we talk about the research topic, which is the learning of mathematics. So from that topic, you can ask a question: what is the average mathematics score of the nursing students of semester 2 2019? Another, that's research question number 1. You can ask on that research topic. Another question, question number 2, on that same research topic, the learning of mathematics: what is the relationship between distance from school and academic performance? Does one affect the other? That has to do with the learning of mathematics. Research question number 3, is there a significant association between academic major and your mathematics performance? Is there a relationship between the major that you're going to study and your mathematics performance? All these questions, 1, 2, 3, you need to collect data to answer them. So they are called research questions, and they are they came from the research topic, which is the learning of mathematics. Now, after the research question, you have the hypothesis. It is basically a blunt statement that mostly expresses the researcher's predetermined opinions or inclinations or observations or non-substantiated, little or no data conclusions. It serves as a possible answer to the research question before empirical data is collected. Remember, to answer research question, you need to collect data, but then you can have a predetermined opinion already in your mind as to how, that question can be answered. And you call it a hypothesis, a possible answer to the research question before data is collected. So you have example, you have 3 research questions, 3 hypotheses. What is the average mathematics score? Research question number 1. Hypothesis number 1. Oh, the average mathematics score of nursing students of semester 2 2019, oh, that must be above 85%. Like an opinion before you collect data. Research question number 2. What is the correlation between distance and academic performance? Hypothesis number 2, you say to yourself, well, okay, there's a negative correlation between distance from school and academic performance. Like the further away you are from school, the less your performance. That is like a presumption, a possible answer without evidence. Research question number 3, what is the association between academic major and mathematics performance? Possible answer, oh, there's a significant association between academic major and mathematics performance of college students. So you can see there's a tight link between the research question and the hypothesis. Now, a theory now is an explanation of a phenomenon that is supported by empirical data. It is formulated after multiple research projects. So a hypothesis can graduate to become a theory after it has been tested, proven to be true multiple times. Then comes the research objectives, important guides to steer the research in a direction related to the research questions. They must begin with verbs and must be clear and precise because they are pillars that guide the direction of the entire research right up to the conclusion, from the research questions to the conclusions. In fact, the conclusion must be directly linked with the objectives, which in turn are linked to the hypotheses, which in turn are linked to the research questions. So you can see the link from conclusions to research questions, from research questions to conclusions. They indicate to the reader what precisely the researcher is going to do. What are the to-dos? So that the hypothesis can be tested in order that the research questions can be properly or more accurately answered. So therefore, 3 research questions, 3 hypotheses, 3 research objectives coming from that topic of learning mathematics. Research question number 1, objective number 1. What are you going to do? To analyze the mathematics score of nursing students of semester 2 2019. Research question number 2. What are you going to do? To determine the correlation between distance from school and academic performance. Research question number 3. What are you going to do? To investigate the association between academic major and mathematics performance of college students. So now we are clear as to what to do. We are going to the questionnaire now to collect the data. Remember, research questions need data so that they can be answered. A questionnaire is a research instrument that consists of a set of questions for the purpose of collecting data from respondents through survey or statistical study or experimentation, etc. The questions are intended to obtain data for the variables which first appear in the research questions and are repeated right up to the objectives. So therefore, now, you have research questions, and then you have your hypotheses, then you have your objectives, and you have the questions in the questionnaire to collect the data so that the research question itself can be answered. So know the difference between research questions and questions in the questionnaire. The questions in the questionnaire most times are predeterministic. What is your mathematics score? Bam, my mathematics score is this. So that's a very simple question. What is the distance from school? My distance from school is from predeterministic. What is your academic major? My major is math, my major is English, my major is biology, French, what have you. Deterministic answers. And as you can see, the variables are again mentioned in the questionnaire. So they first appear in the research question. They have to be repeated in the hypothesis. They have to be repeated in the objectives. And they must appear in the questionnaire. Remember we said where does statistics fit into all of this? Statistic is now needed to facilitate the manipulation of the data collected in each variable. So you have definition 1 of statistics. Statistics can be defined as the collection, organization, representation, and the numerical analysis of data to make informed decisions. So right after the questionnaire has completed, your next step is to collect the data. Here comes statistics. Statistics is needed now for you to know how, where, what to do to collect the data. Income statistics right after the completion of the questionnaire, because the process of statistics starts with the collection of the data. Organization, then represent. After data has been collected, it has to be organized, it has to be represented, and numerical analysis have to be made on the data to make informed decisions, to answer the research question properly. Now, there's a definition 2 of statistics. These are the numerical values calculated by using a sample, because you're going to collect the data from a sample, and you're going to do numerical analysis on that data. Those numbers you calculate, they are called sample statistics. These values are generally called descriptive measures because they are used to describe the data set. When a sample is used, they are called sample statistics. When a population is used, they are called population parameters. Example of sample statistics are the sample mean, the sample median, the sample mode, the sample variance, the sample standard deviation, the sample correlation. So these numbers calculated from the sample in turn are also called statistics. So statistics can be viewed as a process which starts from the collection of the data to make informed decisions. In the statistics process, you'll be doing numerical calculations on the data. These numbers that you calculate from the data, if it's from a sample, they are also called sample statistics. So you have 2 definitions for statistics, as a process and as numerical values calculated from a sample. All in all, statistics fit into the research project after the questionnaire, starting with the collection of the data.